Yo, what's up, everybody? It is time for the playoffs. I'm so excited. Um, and I'm gonna put out this video real quick before it starts. I kind of already did that analytic calculation predicting who's gonna be in my World Series, but just want to talk about it a little bit before games get going. So first off, Red Sox game was awesome. The Yankees, just to talk real quick about that, the Yankees lineup isn't really structured for the playoffs and a wild card game. They're very swing or hit or miss. Their lineup is really based around the home run, and um, not when you have like Stanton, Gallo, Judge 3-4, like that's a lot of a high percentage of strikeouts for a lot of those guys, and it's a lot of home run gamble, and the chances that all three of those guys are going to get a hit is like really, really small, just because they're all like home run hitters pretty much. I also just think Gallo's not really like a four hitter on a playoff team. He just makes too many outs and strikes too much. I don't even know, strikes out too much. I don't really know if he's even like a playoff player, to be honest. Like, you just can't have someone who makes that many outs like in your lineup. So that's just me. And yeah, Sox got to Cole early. He doesn't pitch well in Fenway, nor against the Red Sox really. And that really helped them. They got to him early. Eovaldi was pitching great. He's pitched great against the Yankees all year. Really good in Fenway as well. So that was great. Got out to an early lead. And kind of just rode it from there. That Verdugo hit was kind of the nail in the coffin, and we're on to Tampa Bay. Brutal for the Yankees. At least they made the playoffs, and Cashman made those moves, and they like somewhat paid off, and they made the playoffs. But losing the wild card, that's tough. And then the Cardinals Dodgers, really underestimated how close this game was going to be. I did expect that performance from Wainwright. Wainwright's just been really good this season, and he was continued to be great. Cardinals had so many opportunities to score runs. You shouldn't say this was, we knew this was gonna happen, but like I said, also like the Cardinals only have like four like pretty good hitters. I mean, Edmund's pretty solid. Edmund is good. I mean, he had some good hits last night. O'Neal's pretty good, but he's kind of like a home run type guy, like Stanton. Kind of just like home run or miss. Pete Alonso sort of type guy, not really like a really clutch hitter who can get those grindy hits for you. Goldschmidt and Arenado especially came up all the time with runners on base and didn't do anything. But Goldschmidt and Arenado are their two best hitters, and they didn't really do that much. They just had so many opportunities though to score runs with runners in scoring position. They just didn't cash in, which is disappointing. That it was really close, man. And I knew the deeper and deeper they went into the game, like it just gets worse and worse with the Cardinals, because the Cardinals just don't have the bullpen to compete with the Dodgers. And the more and more you just mess with that Dodgers lineup and keep throwing to it, they're just gonna start getting hits. It's an incredible lineup. So Dodgers pull it out. Max actually pitches well. Usually he's not that good in the playoffs. Usually, like in terms of like giving up one run, like usually gives up two or three, gives up some home runs because guys sit fastball on him. He was great. They took him out early. That wound up being the right move. I thought it was the wrong move. But Roberts really showed a lot of poise, trusted the bullpen, and it worked out. He didn't bring in Walker Buehler, and now they've got him for game one against the Giants. So hats off to him for that managing. But anyways, let's get right into the playoffs. So the first series, we got the White Sox and the Astros. I've got the White Sox in this series. I just can't take Houston because of how bad the pitching is. Valdez is good. Is he a number one starter on a playoff team that's trying to win the World Series? I don't think so. McCullers is really good at home, outstanding at home. I mean, he's elite number one. He's one of the best pitchers in the league at home, top 10 starter at home. But on the road, he is just awful. Not awful, but he's just not that great. So make sure to pitch him at home, I guess. McCullers is pretty good, and then Luis Garcia is good, but he's a rookie. Don't know what we're going to see from him. And then Greinke, I don't know if he still has it, honestly. Like, He had a 109 ERA plus this year, like kind of just above average. He's been injured. So Houston's pitching is really just a question mark for the series, and their bullpen for that matter too. I mean, they have Stanek, Yemi Garcia, Presley, obviously, but they have no lefties at all out of the bullpen. Rayleigh's trash. So, and they have Kendall Graveman also. So their bullpen's like okay. What I love about them and why they're so hard to beat always is just Correa, Altuve, Brantley, Springer, not Springer, let's see Springer, Correa, Gurriel, Maldonado. Like they just all are so good and all just get hits, just rake in the playoffs. All so clutch, have that playoff experience too. I'm taking the White Sox just because they have superior pitching. They've got Lynn, Rodon, who is pitching in the ALDS. Giolito, Ronaldo Lopez has been outstanding. Keuchel's their 5. I mean, that's great for a playoff team. And then that bullpen, I mean, Hendricks and Kimbrel, the 1-2 punch. Also got Tepera, Aaron Bummer. I mean, that's just unfair. So I'm taking them because of that. The one thing I'm worried about is can Moncada, Lurie Garcia, Robert Aloy, can they produce in the playoffs? That's my question. I think they will, and that's why I'm taking them. But that's the one worry I have for the White Sox is their offense going to produce overall? And I think it will. But I don't know. That's my one question mark for them. But yeah, I got the White Sox advancing against the Astros. I think it'll probably go 5 games, but I'm pretty confident the White Sox will win. Next series we have the Red Sox and the Rays. I have to go with the Rays here. Obviously, I'm a Red Sox fan, but this is a non-biased podcast. I'm honest about all my opinions. I thought the Red Sox were going to finish 4th. They luckily made it to the playoffs this year. I don't know how. Well, I actually do know how, but it was incredible. Great job by the front office, but we're not going to win this series. We just don't have the pitching or the bullpen to do it. Tampa, I think it could be close. I don't think we'll win this series, but we maybe could. The way we're going to do it is just offensive firepower, just capitalizing on that like inexperienced and kind of young pitching. Baz is going to be pitching. Yarbrough sucks. And we'll see Rasmussen, I'm sure. Maybe Michael Wacha, Louis Patino. If we can capitalize on their young pitching and just put together a lot of hits and have some clutch hits, we can do it. But the thing is Tampa's going to score runs because we have Rodriguez going to pitch, and he's not going to. I mean, he's decent, but he's not great. Our starting pitching overall is like okay for a playoff team. Like we're gonna have Rodriguez, Evaldi, Sale, and they're all gonna get hit around. And then the main question for me is like, let's say we're winning a game in the 7th or 8th inning. I just don't trust our bullpen at all. Like Ottavino, Robles, Whitlock. I mean, Whitlock's pretty good, but they're all just been so shaky, and like I just can't trust this really holding a lead at the end of the game. So I don't know how many games it's going to be, but I just don't think we're going to win this series merely because of our bullpen and starting pitching. Tampa just always also with those matchups, like I talk about, like they always just put themselves in the right position to win. I think Franco is going to have a huge series. He's a Red Sox killer. Lau, G-Man, Choi, like those guys are just nightmares to face. Zanino. So we'll see, but Mejia too. We'll see, but I'm not liking it so far, and I think the Rays will win this series. Going to the National League, Giants, Dodgers. I mean, wow. This is like one of the best playoff series I think I'm ever going to witness in my life. I mean, it's just going to be so fun to watch. So much of a rivalry. It's also, if there's a game 5, it'll be in San Francisco, which is just awesome. Honestly, I don't know who's going to win this series. Just thinking about it over my head, we can go over the advantages. Offensively, I don't know. I think the Giants maybe have the advantage there just because they've just done better offensively than the Dodgers in these matchups. They're like the Rays in the fact that they rig their lineup so that their players produce better against opposite-handed pitchers. Against Buehler, they're going to start Lamont Wade. They're going to start Tommy Listella. They're going to start Mike Yastrzemski. They're going to start Brandon Belt. They're going to start lefties who hit well against righties, and therefore makes them a better player than they are as advertised. And which is just genius. And against Arias, they're going to start Tyro Estrada. They're going to start Austin Slater. They're going to start Darren Ruff. They're going to make their lineup right so that they, when it comes game time, their guys have the right matchups in order to succeed, and that's why they're such a good franchise. So I'm giving them the offensive advantage. Pitching-wise, it goes to the Dodgers. I think the three we'll see from the Giants are, we're going to see Dominic Leone as an opener, I think, for one game. I think DeSclafani may pitch a game. I don't know, though, because he hasn't been very good against the Dodgers this season. We're definitely going to see Logan Webb, and we'll definitely see Gosman. But I just have to take the Dodgers pitching here, just because their bullpen's really deep, as we saw last night, and their rotation is pretty solid. It does hurt that they don't have Kershaw. And then bullpen-wise, probably the Dodgers have the advantage. So I guess I'll take the Dodgers to win this series, but this is the toss-up series of the century here. Please do not bet on this series. Please do not, I have no idea what's going on. No idea what's going to happen. Based on my simulation, the Dodgers should win, though, since they have better pitching, and that's what I'm standing by. And that's what I've basically how I'm deciding all these matchups is which team has the better starting pitching. And the Dodgers lead in that category, so I got to take them. And then we have the Brewers and the Braves. This one for me is probably the easiest series to pick. I think pretty confident the Brewers will win this series. I see no reason why they won't. Home field advantage. You've got Burns, Woodruff, Freddie Peralta. I mean, that has to be one of the greatest top threes coming into a playoffs of all time. I mean, their average ERA plus is like 160. I mean, that's insane. Corbin Burns had a 175 ERA plus. Brendan Woodruff 166, and then Peralta was 151. I mean, that's just insane. So they just have a three-headed monster. And then, yeah, they lost Devin Williams, but they still have Boxberger. They still have Josh Hader. So their bullpen, I think, will be fine. And I'm not worried about it at all. I'm also definitely forgetting someone who's pretty good in their bullpen, and I can't remember. One question for me is their offense. I think they will produce, because I don't really consider Morton, Fried, and Anderson to be incredibly elite pitching. I think they'll get hits. I think they'll string hits together. Gotta see Yelly step up. If the Brewers want to win the World Series, Yelly has to go back into MVP form. He had 9 home runs this season. That's just unacceptable. Great job getting Eduardo Escobar, because that really helps kind of patch up their offense and patch up the production that they weren't getting from second and third base combined. Adames, I think, will have a great series. I'm excited to see Narvaez. And this Brewers team, man, I have high hopes for them. They're my World Series pick. So yeah, I guess there's a little bias in it, but I think they'll win this series just because of how good their pitching is. So thanks for watching, everybody. Those are my first round predictions. Really excited, and I'll probably come back with a talk about the first round and with somebody and further predictions. So happy playoffs, everybody. Enjoy it. I'm excited. October baseball, baby. Let's go.